Hello and welcome to this week's Pick a Card video. So I'm hoping that we are all well. This week I am looking into what is your soul purpose. So what is part of your soul purpose? We do seem to look into this quite often. So I want to say to those that do seem to want this pile quite a lot, do make sure that you are taking action from some of the things that you are hearing and you are allowing yourself to recognize what is being given to you and how that can impact in your life, because quite often we can just keep watching pick a cards and we don't seem to have the courage to feel like we can take any action off what we've heard. But I'm hoping that by you watching them quite regularly, they will be giving you some kind of continuity, so some kind of flow as to the fact of what they are telling you. So each card, so there is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. So each card is going to be looking into what is part of your life purpose, or it doesn't even have to be your life purpose. What is part of your purpose now? What is part of the purpose of what is going on in your life? So it doesn't have to be your life purpose. It could be the purpose of what is happening now. So if you're going to be picking your card, do allow yourself to intuitively be pulled to whichever card that you are drawn to. Sometimes I like to put stones on them and sometimes I don't. Sometimes we can just go to the picture on the front, even though it's all the same. And that can leave us feeling drawn. I mean, that one's a little bit pushed up. That could draw somebody in. How that looks could be a little bit different. It could be glowing a bit differently. So allow yourself to feel drawn to which one is calling you, and let's get into your reading. So hello pile 1 and welcome to your card. Let's zoom in a little bit on your card and then we will zoom out. So this is the initial card that I have been chosen and guided for you, and initially I'm going to be reading because there's some cards that I do actually like to read from the book, because I truly feel that having that extra bit of clarification from some other source really can impact the reading and lead to what else is being brought in to really gel together. And I feel like the intuition of somebody else is so important as well. If I believed that it was only me that could always give the information to you and I was the only source, then I would be, restricting you and dipping you out of lots of other sources of information that can be brought to you. So the card that has been chosen for you, group 1, is Temple of Carnelian, and entering the fierce belly of Sekhmet. You have such strength within you. It is time to trust in your own boldness and courage, taking risks that feel true to your heart and engaging in practices that make you feel truly and genuinely alive, embodied and more of yourself. Even if not always comfortable, they are going to help you live a life that you were born to live. In the fierce belly of Sekhmet, the lion-headed sister of Isis, the Egyptian goddess of passion, courage and fire, there is no room for procrastination, self-doubt or turning back. She urges you on your high destiny. She urges you onto your high destiny, calling to you to believe, to keep going, to reach higher and to expand wider. You can do so knowing that the Temple of Carnelian will bring you warmth, strength, encouragement and deep trust in your own body, your own wisdom, to guide you through any situation or relationship that may arise to test you, so that you can grow into more of a magnificent being. This oracle calls you to have courage of your convictions, to have faith in yourself and your own process, to be fearless as you are assured of victory. Sekhmet will not be defeated. If you are concerned that you are biting off more than you can chew or not sure about the path you are taking, if you are up to the standard, or if you will gain the recognition that you feel you deserve, then know that as you enter the Temple of Carnelian, into the fire belly of the lion-headed priestess, you shall be guided to success. Sekhmet comes alive with boldness. Her power grows with courage, and her fire will burn bright in your life as passion, success, and victory. She says fortune favours the bold and guides you to take the leap you know in your heart it's time for. Trust that she will protect you, protect your heart and your vision, encouraging you to shine most brightly. This oracle also brings a particular message about divine justice. If you are involved in or witnessing a situation that seems unjust, abusive, or concerning, and are worried that it is not right, the Lion Sister Priestess tells you that it shall be resolved according to divine justice, and there is nothing to fear. Pray to her. Pray to her in her unconditional love for help, resolution and trust. If you feel intuitively to act, then do so. Otherwise, allow her to have her way, as she has done and always will do. There is much more unfolding in life than we can possibly know consciously, and her ways are vast and many. Divine justice always prevails. The oracle is also a yes to any question that you have been asking. Any obstacle in the way of manifestation of your desire will be cleared away. Sometimes it is our own ego that is cleared, so don't worry if there are a few bumps on the path. It is just the part of manifestation of the desire. Sekhmet assures you it will come to pass. In fact, the manifestation has already started to commence. Ritual healing in the Temple of Carnelian. If you have pieces of carnelian crystal jewellery with carnelian in, or even orange, red or brown coloured cloth, crystals, clothing or candles, you may like to bring them into your sacred space for this healing. Once you have created your warm ritual space, sit comfortably with your spine in an upright position and close your eyes, taking your breath and your awareness deep into your belly. Be aware of a light growing in the belly, warm and strong. Imagine following the light into the belly. Deeper and deeper you go, until you become aware of the vast pyramid made of huge ancient sandstone with swirling sand patterns on its face. It is warm, pulsating, alive. Take your time to sense the entrance to the pyramid. You feel effortlessly drawn towards the entrance, and you descend quickly into the pyramid itself now. Inside there is darkness and warm touches of rich flames. As your sense of awareness adjusts to being inside the pyramid, you sense warmth and vibrancy. There is an altar with flames burning in huge howls made of carnelian. The warm red and orange tones are the light of the fire burning. They create golden glow in the room. Just feel the power, the warmth and energy in the temple warming you from within. You become aware of a great being stepping out from behind the altar. Into the centre of the temple, her energy is powerful and her presence very strong. She steps forward as a golden lion-headed goddess, vibrant and radiant like the sun. She sweeps her hand before your eyes, placing a soft filter before your eyes so that whilst you are in the temple, you can gaze at her without being blinded by her intensity and light. She is radiant and powerful and fierce, and filled with heat and energy like the sun. You bow your head in deep respect, and she nods in acknowledgement. She gestures to the largest carnelian bowl filled with fire in the centre of her carnelian temple. You notice the fire in the bowl gazing into its dancing flames. You know that she is offering you use of the central flame. It will purify any matter that you offer to it. You can choose to release into the fire any fear, doubt, uncertainty or habit that would hold you back from fulfilling your high density and your destiny, and allowing life to flow through you to the greatest degree. It won't always feel comfortable. Sometimes it will feel challenging and scary. But even with that underneath it all, it will always feel right. Do you dare surrender energies that would hold you back into her divine fire? Once the fire of Sekhmet consumes and destroys these energies, she will give them back transformed, but you will not leave her. You will not leave her temple the same as you entered. Are you ready and willing for your own transformation to occur? She waits for one moment longer and then steps forward. It is time for you to decide. She defiantly raises her arms and the fire leaps. Now is the time to toss away that which you no longer need. Do it now. Feel the exhilaration as you let it go. Let yourself moan or release a cry as you do so. Let your entire body, mind and soul release into her magnificent fire. When you are done moments later, the fire dies away, and within the bowl there is golden dust. Feel the peace in the temple and the knowing in Sekhmet's eyes as she inclines her head, acknowledging that you have trusted her and received her healing grace. Be at peace within yourself now. Sekhmet waves her hand over the golden dust in the carnelian bowl, and it gathers itself, swirling light all around you. Let it settle into your body, your chakras, your hair. When the swirling has finished, Sekhmet is gone, and you are outside the pyramid again. Travelling back quickly towards your belly, and breathe and breathe, and allow your body to flow with the breath. You are changed. Well done. Take your time and be aware of yourself in this space. When you are ready, just open your eyes. You can say this incarnation to overcome any fear or doubt you could possibly imagine, and to get the energy and fire into any issue that seems stagnant or blocked. Only use the incarnation when it really feels right to do so in your heart, because it is powerful and it will have effect. And sometimes, when our heart tells us patience is needed, we are better to wait and allow situations to unfold, rather than throw the gauntlet down and ask powerful Sekhmet to step in and sort it all out. She isn't very subtle. However, when we really do need the power of her action, our beloved lion sister priestess is here for us. Just don't expect to control the effects of her power. Always say the incarnation as a whole, so you are calling on unconditional love to guide your praises. Okay. Repeat this. Sekhmet who loves me unconditionally. Brave, bright as fire, bold as can be. Bless the situation within your healing power. Do it now, this very hour. I offer you love and gratitude from my heart as you liberate me from this troubled dark. Sekhmet who loves with passion and might. You assist me now with your entire fire bright. And I feel Sekhmet is being called to you. Maybe part of your purpose is to release emotions that you have been holding on to. Part of your purpose right now is possibly to release things that you are feeling caught in. So let's just pull this out as we are now going to ask the rest of the cards. So part of your purpose, Pile 1, is to find happiness, to find contentment. And when I say find it, I actually don't feel that this means that you have to go out and seek it externally, that you have to go out and create it. I feel that the happiness you're being asked to find is actually in the small things. I feel part of your purpose is to look beyond material success and wealth. I feel it's to look beyond what you see others doing. Maybe you base success on how your home should look, or what work should look like, or what your career should look like, or where you think you should be in your life. And actually that goes really well with that card of letting go of the thoughts and feelings that make you believe you're not where you should be, that make you believe that you need to find something that's missing or find happiness in something external to you. I feel that you're being asked to start reflecting on your thoughts and how they may actually start going to what you are lacking instead of what you really have. You're being asked to reflect back on a time when you really didn't have much, where you were struggling, where times you actually were happy when you had very little. And I feel like that maybe this is in childhood or early adolescence, but there definitely is a period within your life where you haven't had the success that you have now, but you were happy. And it's about teaching you to recognise that you can be happy with what you have. Because if you're always trying to seek something else, a better job, more friends, more social life, more money, more home, or you're trying to always think that you're not happy, why am I not happy? But there's so much to be happy for. When we start to bring our focus on the things that we're actually happy for, when we start to bring our focus on actually what we have achieved and where we have come and what we have done, we start to find gratitude and we start to feel thankful. And actually, anything past that becomes a bonus. You may be going through some great changes now that lead you to believe that, God, 1 minute things are all right and then everything's going wrong again. But that's life. Pile 1, you're being asked to accept that that's life. If you continually rejoice for the good times, feeling frustrated when the bad times come in, feeling like, what now? You're going to constantly feel frustrated. You're going to constantly feel sad and down, and you're going to constantly be hijacked by everything else that's going on. When actually, there's always going to be something. Every day, something's going to go wrong, or at least once a week, something's going to go wrong. And if we're always looking out for it or focusing on it, the short bursts of happiness that we do have will be very fleeting. Where actually we can learn to find peace and balance during those times. Yes, that shit is occurring, and yes, you can feel the emotions that come with that, but also do recognise what you do still have. Do still recognise what remains. I feel like part of your purpose is to step into your spiritual side. And I don't say that you're not in your spiritual side, but I do feel that you're in your spiritual side of consuming spiritual stuff, but I don't know how much you're in your spiritual side of aligning yourself with spiritual beliefs and thought systems. I feel like you are constantly possibly seeking your answers from spiritual things and enjoying spiritual things, but I don't know how much you're embodying it. How much are you allowing that spirituality to seep into your soul, to recognise that you are a spiritual soul, to recognise that actually everyone suffers with imposter syndrome. Everyone suffers with wanting more at some point. But reconnecting to your soul and reconnecting to yourself spiritually means actively working on, I am enough and what I have is enough. That doesn't mean that you don't want more or you're not going to willing to create more. It means that you're very thankful and you have enough right now. There are people that have very, very minimal, but actually find happiness in that. And they say when they've had money or when they've had wealth or when they've got a good job, it doesn't, they don't feel any happier. They feel more stressed. They feel more consumed by it. And that's because they've based so much on it. Clarity of thinking and feeling comes from being still more. If you're rushing ahead for goals and for cleaning, and that's not what life is about. When you get to the end, your sole purpose won't, no one's going to show up and say, well done for having a beautiful home and for achieving this, or, well done for holding on to all your pain. And no one's going to be thankful for that. No one's going to say that that was what your purpose was. And I know when we have been through things, sometimes we feel it's hard to let go of our pain. But we have to actively want to release it. We have to actively know that it isn't serving us, because quite often pain does serve us. Pain allows us to feel anger that we don't know where it can go. Pain allows us to keep caught and allows us to give some reason to why we feel trapped and stuck. Okay, so let's ask. Let's pull these in. What can pile 1 do to more align to their purpose? What can pile 1 do to more align to their purpose? So definitely straight away, pile one, what you're being called to recognise is the habits that you are in, the cycles that you're in are feeling trapped. And you may feel trapped by your thoughts and feelings and behaviours, but actually you have so much knowledge gained and you have a lot of wisdom that if you start tapping into the wisdom and not everything that's going wrong, you will be able to see the blessings that are really there. Because right now, I feel that you're caught in a ball and chain. I'm stuck, I'm tired, this is going wrong, that's going wrong, it's not taking off. Turn it around and recognise, look, that's your thoughts, but they aren't real. Things do go wrong regularly. Sorry about that, I literally ran out of battery. So allowing yourself to recognise the behaviours that you are caught in that are holding you back. It's time to nurture yourself. It's time to have compassion for yourself. To recognise that your sole purpose is about slowing down. It's about learning to love yourself at the core. And when you may say, well, what do you mean love myself at the core? I love myself, but I don't love myself. It doesn't matter how many times I tell myself that. It's not about telling yourself that you love yourself. It's about doing things that tell you that you love you. And that is by spending time alone reflecting on how far you've come. Spending time reflecting on what you have achieved instead of focusing on what it is you want to achieve or what you think you need to be. Reflecting on how you become the person that you are. What did you have to overcome? What did you have to face? Because I do feel that you may self-sabotage slightly by focusing on the things that are going wrong, focusing on what's not working out. And you are being asked to integrate that shadow side of yourself, which is the inner critic, the shadow side of yourself, which feels imposter syndrome. You just don't feel good enough. You don't feel, I do feel that you try to show up to the world with a mask on of who you think you should be. And maybe this is to the people around you, work, even if you don't work, to your children, if you don't have children, whoever you are, whatever your life circumstances, you are more attached to who you think you should be then understanding your authentic self is really important. And you probably don't, you might say, well, I don't know what you mean by authentic self. Your authentic self is somebody who lives to their moral compass, who does things when they want to do them, doesn't feel like they have to do them. Maybe you're being called to research how to become more authentically you. Because you're somebody that gives a lot of yourself, but you don't have to give a lot of yourself in actions. You just give a lot of yourself to others in the sense of, I will be for you what you need me to be. So whoever's in your life, you're showing up to them as I will be for them what they need me to be. So that card has come out again. So again, it's saying part of your soul's purpose is to come back into authenticity, come back into looking at what mask you're living by. And a mask is a front that we put on. So say if I was feeling down and I'm feeling sad, down and pissed off, but I go out to the world and I'm like, yeah, I'm great, everything's brilliant, that's a mask. Sometimes we need those masks, but not all the time. If we're living a life as a mask, we're doing things that society think are right. That's like people who don't do spiritual work as a career because they're like, well, you can't make a career out of that, that's just a hobby, shouldn't be making money out of that. That's not actually true if that's what somebody's journey is. So it's about aligning with what you want, aligning with what your morals are. And how we do that is we sit and we reflect, what do I want from my life right now? And if that's what I want, am I getting it? Do I say yes too often? Do I say no too often? Do I isolate myself? Do I want to go out a bit more with my friends, but I'm putting family first all the time? Or do I spend money only on family things when actually there's a few things that I want that I am going to allow myself to spend money on? Money gets spent either way. And if you don't choose where it goes, it will just go. How many times have you thought, I'm going to save that money and I'm not going to buy myself that, but then it gets wasted in another way and you think, I don't even know what it's been wasted on. But actually, you could have just spent that money on something that was really something you wanted. It's not a waste to spend money on yourself or money on the home. It's not a waste to buy things that you like. Now, if you're obviously stuck in that when you're buying stuff all of the time, recognizing that material gain and need is not paramount, and that you may be finding happiness through that, but recognizing the need to kind of put yourself first to a certain extent and see how far you've come. And that's part of your main purpose, finding your authenticity, letting go of the parts of you that are here to please others, bringing in your shadow side. And you do have the tools to do all that. You really do. You don't believe you do. Your mindset keeps you caught in the fact of, how would I do that? You're somebody that looks at the bigger picture quite often instead of taking small baby steps. You kind of already want to be there, or already want to do it, or feel overwhelmed so quickly that you just sack it off. Read one book. Write one page of reflection. Just do small baby steps to start really focusing on what it is you need and want within your life. So I'm hoping that you can take that pile one and let me know if it does connect to you. And I hope to see you in future card readings. Hello, pile 2, and welcome to your pick a card pile. So this is a collective reading. Some things may resonate with you and some things may not. Please do also know that this isn't your main and only one purpose in life. This is part of your purpose. And the purpose doesn't have to be a whole purpose. It doesn't have to be your purpose in life. It could be the purpose of right now, of what you're going through right now, the purpose or meaning that you're being called to recognize right now. So I'm going to be reading from the book initially from this card. There are some cards that I absolutely love to read from the book from because I find their meaning so in depth. I find that the soul that the person's put into the reading is something that obviously I wouldn't be able to touch on. I can bring my meaning to everything, but I'm not the only one here that can teach you. And I want to allow as many sources to flow through me to give you those teachings. Now, if I didn't allow myself to ever read from a book or to ever source from somebody else, then I'm sitting in my ego there and believing that I'm the only one that can help you, which actually, for one, you help yourself. For two, I'm not the only one that can facilitate some healing your way. So I do like to read from the book and bring to you different sources of information. So the abundance of Sophis, stellar blessings of the celestial goddess of abundance. Abundance in many forms is flowing to you now. Beloved, intended right now to receive it. Just decide to do so in your heart this very moment. The oracle of the abundance of Sophis comes as guidance to expect increased flow and to continue your good work of building channels through which abundance can be delivered to you. Freely share your talents, love, wisdom and self, and enjoy the abundance responsively flowing to you in many forms over and over again. Abundance comes to you now, dear and infinite, if you have been through a time of restricted circumstances, material, financially, socially, in terms of health or relationship, opportunities, fun or friendship, then this oracle indicates that the tide is turning and an upsurge of wealth, health, abundance and more are coming to you now. After an experience of restriction, perhaps for a prolonged period, you will very much enjoy this new and improved flow of energy. Enjoy the support, the compensation and reward. With your heart open, your many channels ready to receive, the influx of abundance and your innate belief that you are worthy to receive, you attract great support from the universe now. Channels for receiving grace in all forms and are created when you follow your heart. And do your part to be ready and prepared to receive. Preparation is an important part of abundance in all forms, and you can enjoy your abundance to the fullest extent when there are containers for it to be held within. Those containers will be practical ways for wealth and other forms of abundance, such as great relationships, to be part of your world. Your channels might include new creative works being formed, seeking networking opportunities with others in your field so that there are ways for people to find you and the work that you offer, for example, or joining classes or groups that allow you to meet others, following up your intuition or instincts in even small, seemingly unrelated situations. The containers will be created not only from the practical steps that you take, but from the intention, from the vibration and the resonance behind them, which means your thoughts, beliefs and attitudes all count. If you desire abundance is wealth, then start to really shift your identity and thoughts from a place of restriction to a place of relaxation and willingness to take care of your money, so that you create a strong container for the flow of abundance to reach you. If you desire a loving soulmate, relationships or deeper friendships, becoming more of the person yourself that you wish to express in others, as well as affirming that you have the value and you have much to offer and are willing and worthy of receiving from others, will create powerful channels through which you can receive the abundance of love and good community from Sophis can bring to you. The goddess of celestial abundance, shining stellar Mother Sophis, will bless you with all you can possibly receive. So allow yourself to act in faith, be brave and take steps to ready yourself right now. Make sure you harvest your crops to create even more channels through which abundance can flow to you. Clearing out the old, completing and preparing ripe crops of nourishment. This may mean revising, finishing and bringing to fruition old projects, or deciding to let them go completely if they do not feel right to pursue right now. It might mean seeking fresh input or collaboration on certain projects, or feeling any sadness, guilt, grief or anger over unfinished projects and letting them go completely. I need to get my glasses on. I'm so sorry. I'm really struggling to see the older I get. Oh. There may be still other products that you feel in your heart are right for you, but not just now, and so they are released to percolate further in the cosmic womb. With this greater creative clarity and organisation, your channels for abundance will be clearer and more receptive, and Sophis will have all the more room in which to bless you and fill. This oracle wishes to bring you great blessings. The ritual below will help you move into best place within to receive it fully. So this is the abundance ritual of Sophis that you can do. So take some time out, 5 minutes, or take yourself somewhere that you can spend some time doing this. Lie comfortably and close your eyes, focusing on your breath and allowing your awareness to dwell within, deeper and deeper as you relax. Focusing on the rise and fall of your belly as you inhale and exhale. Allow yourself to become aware that above you is a great star. It is brilliant silver and magnificent. Feel the energy that pulses around it. Nuclear, powerful and vast. It is crackling with aliveness and potency. Many other planets, stars and moons are supported by the power of this great star. It feeds them with energy and life as a spiritual sun. Be aware that you are floating in a silver river of light in the darkest galaxy now, heading closer towards this sun. You feel the river of light beneath you, filled with love and power. It naturally guides you towards the star. As you get closer, the river rises and expands, becoming vaster and wider, full of life energy directly from the spiritual sun Sophis. Allow the river to nourish you with the perfect balance of cool and warm energies. Feel yourself rising and falling with the natural flow of the river of light, underneath and all around your body, holding you firm and safe. Imagine being cleansed by the river, letting go of any energy that is not aligned with abundance, and strengthening all the energies already within you that are aligned with abundance. Breathe deeply in and exhale, using your voice to really let go. As you exhale, you release into the river, and as you inhale, draw in its loving power and light. You become aware that the river is merging now with the edges of the star. You feel such peaceful bliss as the energy of the star of the Sothis pours into your being. You feel the beliefs that were incorrect and based in fear falling away, and you see and know things differently. There is no explanation or analysis, there is just deep, heartfelt knowing that all is just fine and there is no need to worry or fear. You are loved. You are safe. You are supported. You will never be abandoned, lost, ignored, or forgotten by the divine. You are not separate from the beauty and light of this great star. You have this within you already. You just need to feel it and remember. Eventually you feel that you can move on the river of light back towards your life on Mother Earth without losing your feeling of the soul that's within. The river flows and you feel yourself passing through the belly of the star. Through the edges of the star on the other side, peacefully and gently you flow through on the river from the star towards the earth. The river with you in it begins to flow into your life on the earth, emotionally and psychology. Spiritually and physically. There is no part of your life that is not blessed by this river and the light within it, psychologically. Be aware of this softest light in the river flowing into any part of your life that needs more abundance, healing, or prosperity in particular. Allow that part of you in life to be blessed by the sacred celestial river. Again, it is washing and carrying, healing into the part of your life that needs it most, filling it with sacred healing energy and blessings. Enjoy this feeling for a few moments, and when you are ready, say, I give thanks to Sothis, giver of abundance and healing. Thank you for your generosity, blessings and gifts of abundance now in all parts of my life. Thank you, beloved, for your nurturing. When you are ready, just open your eyes. So you may like to finish your practice with the incarnation below. This incarnation will help you move back into peace and out of stress if you are worried about lack of abundance and feeling yourself getting caught in a pattern of negativity or struggle. So right now I invite you to place your hand on your heart and speak from your heart as you say this. Star of Sothis, you bless me with abundance and peace. My wealth on all levels does increase. Through many channels I receive your flow. With wonder and gratitude, I watch my wealth grow. I release all fear and doubt that would block your grace. Instead, I focus on your shining stellar face and release the love and safety within. The flow of great abundance now does begin. So before I even move on, I feel part of your soul's purpose is to recognize that you too are worthy of wealth and abundance, and that you may feel quite now within your purpose there is a lack. You're feeling as if you're not quite reaching a full potential of some kind. Okay, so let's see. Oh, one card said Divine Spirit, Angels and Higher Self. What is part of pile twos? Wow, oh my God. Pile number 1 got exactly that, and the card that is of similar kind of thing. Wow, that card came out a minute ago. So I feel as if part of your purpose is to allow yourself to know that you are worthy too. Part of your purpose is to develop a strong sense of self, to realise that you are capable of doing much more than you are doing. I feel that maybe there might be a business that you want to do, or there might be something that you want to learn that you may have started to learn and taken a sabbatical on. So maybe you've started a course and taken a break on it, or maybe you started years ago learning something and took a break on it, or maybe you have had to put things to one side while you focused on family or focused on what's going on now, and this has allowed you to feel as if you're never going to reach what it is you want to reach, that you're not going to be able to create what it is you want to create. I do feel that you're being asked to collab with people, so either work with people, with your friends or people around you, maybe get together and talk about coming together and, you know, maybe building a business with somebody else who's in alignment of the same business that you're doing, or, you know, seeking knowledge out from somebody that you know on what it is you want to possibly do, so that you can realise that everyone goes through periods of not feeling good enough. Like, no one takes on a new job or starts something new or creates a business and doesn't feel at some point, you know, is this going to fall flat on its face? Is this worth it? Am I going to succeed? We all kind of have that within us, and those that don't, you know, I don't think do succeed, because unless you're ever doubting yourself and reflecting on yourself, are you ever going to succeed? Because if you already believe that you know it all, or you're going to do it, or you're going to get there, and you never have that doubt, you're always going to hit a brick wall at some point. You're not even going to realise you're hitting it. So part of your purpose is realising what you already have created. There has been some certifications or some things. Like, I feel for some reason, even though this has got emotions and things, I feel for some reason this sole purpose is something you're called here to do. Something you're here to do, whether it is, you know, spiritual pursuits or a business of some kind, or something that you know you want to move forward in, but you don't know if you're going to have the funds to do it. You don't know if you've got the time to do it. You've got to put that to one side, and you've got to make time for it. You've got to make time to step into, even if it's a hobby initially, you've got to put in time to step into something. No one just takes off straight away and starts achieving straight away. You have to go through the times of learning. You keep yourself back by not believing that you're good enough. But actually, you've already learnt so much. You already have the foundation and basis to some of what it is you want to move forward into, because you've already done this. There's some things, whether it's life experience you've been through, or whether you actually have proper certification in it. You know, it's almost like wanting to be a counsellor but fearing like you know, will I be able to do the course? Well, the majority of time, people have enough life experience that doing the course is just about, for one, putting their life experience into practice, and for two, you know, most people do struggle academically. You've got more people in the majority that struggle academically and less people in the minority that actually are academically driven. I know myself, when I did my degree and when I did my counselling course, I really struggled to some points, thinking, you know, my trainer in my counselling course said to me, I had to tell the assessor how amazing that you are, because to be quite honest, Vicky, your written work's not cutting it. And I could have felt so deflated, and I did feel deflated. I felt deflated that I didn't know what I was doing, in the sense of not being able to use a computer properly and use English. But actually I felt so blessed in the sense that my tutor believed in me enough to actually reassure the assessor that while my written work wasn't up to par, my practical work and my knowledge was clear to see. Even though my written work wasn't up to par, the knowledge I had in that written work was clear to see. And they actually passed me on that. And, you know, I could have allowed that to define me and thought I'm just not good enough. But I did go on to do my degree a few years later, knowing that, yes, okay, I was going to have to start learning something new, but you don't get anywhere without learning something new. Now I'm stepping into YouTube. I know very little. And I'm learning as I go along. But I know that that's my path, and I know I'm being driven that way. So I'm having to learn to trust that, yes, I don't know it all now, but that's the beauty of learning. Like, that's the beauty of seeing growth in people. You've got to cut yourself some slack. I feel like you think you should already know it now. You feel like you've been on a long spiritual journey, or maybe you are to some extent, you know, quite far down your spiritual journey, and you still believe you should know it by now. You shouldn't be flawed by some things that happen. But that's just not true. That's not true. There is, you know, I'm looking at these cards here, and I feel like there's a couple of things you've got to get through before you ascend, before you go higher. You have great potential, group 2, great potential. But that perfectionism in you, that Emperor card, that's leading me to feel that you are a very masculated, dominated person. You don't have to be masculated all the time to people, but you're very, I'm going to get it done, I'm going to go, I'm going to have goals, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You're very driven. Unless you have a driven goal, and a goal that you want to expect results, then you're not going to do it. But the fact is, there's lots more to it. We have to, and that is amazing actually, because that absolutely correlates with that. If you don't make space, if we had a church full of all these old chairs and we needed to buy new chairs for the church, you wouldn't buy new chairs and stick those new chairs in, because there would be nowhere for them to put. You wouldn't be able to put them on the old chairs because no one would be able to sit on them. You have to first clean out the old chairs and then put in the new. And this is exactly like personal growth, exactly like spiritual growth, business growth, anything. You have to clear out old belief systems. You have to clear out old ways of thinking, old ways of feeling, to start replacing for the new. Such as, I want to start something, but oh no, I'm scared. Okay, I am scared and I'm going to do it anyway. Replacing that with feeling that, yes, I am scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm scared and I don't know whether it's worth it, but I'm going to do it anyway. People, and group 2, I feel this may be you, like to have a knowledge of what the outcome is going to be. But I only want to do that if I know there's going to be a set outcome. You don't like uncertainty. But really, we have to live in some form of uncertainty, because otherwise we'd never take risks, and the people that never take risks are never going to find true happiness, and never going to strive to be anything more than what they are. You have to learn to take risks, and that taking risks means sometimes you've got to sit back in the energy and allow things to come forward. You've just got to, you know, in autumn and winter, you look after the land, so that in spring you can prep the land for new things to sprout. Winter, you have to know yourself when to flow with the energies. You can't be going all the time. You can't be expecting to be doing all the time and then feel lazy when you're not doing. You're never going to get anywhere if you continue to just keep going, and watching out for results. You're being asked to step into some feminine energy more. You're being asked to allow people to have to sort their own things out. Recognise when you're trying to save people and step in and help people. Now is a time to give yourself time for you, to focus on your needs and wants. I always remember growing up, my mum was doing a nursing degree. And every time she would get shouty and screamy because someone would knock on the door, or my aunt would pop in, and she always would, at the end of it, she would sit there and listen to them and connect to them, and then at the end of the day she'd be slamming her stuff around, so frustrated because she hasn't got time or energy to do her work. And that's a prime example of giving your energy to others and allowing others to infringe on your time and space. What I learned from that is, when I am going to be doing my work, I'm locking my door. If I tell you I'm not available, I'm not available. If you come to my door, I won't be a people pleaser, and I won't say to you, yes, come in. I will say, unfortunately, right now I am busy. And we need to start cultivating that, so that you're spending more time on your own, and that you're not using your time to constantly be filled up with others. And then you get to sit there and feel like you want to blame, my mum blamed everyone else for the fact that she didn't do a degree. Well, everyone bothered me all the time. But actually, if she took personal responsibility and realised she had some control over that, she'd recognise that actually maybe in a way she was creating that because she never felt good enough. She was scared of doing the work. So what she did is she fed into this busyness, always believing the house had to be tidy, always doing something she was, but never what she needed to do. And I always remember her saying to me, I always needed to do personal work on myself. I just never had time. And I always tell myself I would have time. No, but she used that as an unconscious excuse. Because we always say, well, there's always something else that needs us. Our children need us. I haven't got time to worry about myself right now. I'll do it later. No. You've got to recognise that that's an excuse. That's a coping mechanism for you not to look at yourself. It's not selfless by any means. Because for one, your children aren't getting the best of you. My mum shouted and screamed all the time. Never got the best of my mum. Even though she believed she was being selfless. No, she wasn't. She was directing her energy towards us to stop herself from having to focus on the uncomfortable feelings of doing what she needed to do. And then she blamed us. And this is how unconsciously we project. I'm not saying that's exactly what you're doing. But what I'm saying is we project this out like everyone else needs us, got to get it done, got housework, I haven't got time for myself. As if that's a badge of honour. The truth of the matter is you're doing that. You're allowing that. You're actually unconsciously creating that so you don't have to face these uncomfortable feelings. So you don't have to face the fact that actually you are in control of your own life. You are the one in control of how things go. So allow yourself to recognise that you are in a dominated energy. And maybe this comes from your father. Maybe your mum or dad had quite a dominating energy. Maybe trace back where that energy's come from. Maybe you have always felt like you haven't had that male figure in your life, so you've had to kind of adopt this male, as you know, it's not gender for one, but you've had to adopt this masculine, got to get it done. And this actually will be hindering you, I think, with other people, because when we adopt that I got to get it done, we don't allow people to do anything. We think that we're the only ones that can do it, and that's all but saying to other people, you're not good enough. If we always do the hoovering and say, well, it's better if I do it, we're making our partner or our children feel they're not good enough. By delegating things, by allowing children and partners to make mistakes and build their self-confidence, we're allowing them to recognise they can help out, they will help out, and actually they feel good after helping out too, because they feel like they are part of our growth and our life. And that's the same with friends. So allow yourself to feel supported by another so that you can start to focus on what your purpose is. Is it a spiritual purpose? Is it a business purpose? What is it you're being called to focus on right now? And you are going to need the support of others. And, you know, it's not selfless going through life believing you can do it all yourself. It's another coping mechanism. It's another defense mechanism. So pile 2, you are being asked to recognise your purpose is to stop running. Stop running from your thoughts, feelings and emotions. Allow yourself to connect, to make way for the new, to recognise when the old is outdated. You know, we keep doing the same things until we sit and reflect and recognise the same things don't work. People continue to do the same things, expect a different outcome. At what point do you sit and reflect and go, the same things is not working? I need to change those same things. And you can't change them all at once. You can change them bit by bit. But what is it you need to change? Now is the time to sit and reflect at what it is you need to change. And actually, I feel you need to come into the energy of happiness, being happy at where you are within your life, knowing that that abundance that you do have, you have created also. You know, so often we don't get to enjoy what we've created because we're striving for more. The journey is learning to adapt and grow. You wouldn't descend into water and go straight to 10,000 feet. You'd have to slowly descend and allow your body to acclimatise to it. Just like walking up Mount Everest. You can't walk it all in one. You've got to slowly acclimatise. And that's part of the journey. All these people that run up Mount Everest and so chuffed they've run up Mount Everest. And actually, the walking up Mount Everest, the bonds that you build up walking up with the other people, stopping, pausing, the times that you've got to push yourself through feelings that you just want to stop and give up, and you're pushing yourself, and then times that you're going to sit and you're going to reflect and rest and allow your body to rest because you know that you've got a big steep hill coming up and you want to do it. You don't know how you're going to do it, but you want to do it. When you do those things and you get through it and you allow the ebbs and flows of both energies, that is when you are allowing the universe to do its job too. Because if you are running ahead and trying to focus on everything and have control over everything, you're doing God's work. You're doing the universe's work. You're not allowing the universe to come in and support you. Just like walking Mount Everest. If you try and go up there as quick as you can, you're not allowing any of the beauty of that journey to come in. That's why we take things at pace. Group 2, I hope you can take your reading. And if you do have any questions or comments, please do pop them in the box down below. And let me know. Let me know if this resonates with you. Some of it may and some of it may not. Maybe you might need to spin some of it on its head and allow it to connect with you in the way that it needs to connect with you and not the way I've said it. Whatever it is, I hope you can take this reading. I hope I see you in future readings. Pile 3, and welcome to your pick a card. So if you have been chosen or you have been drawn to this third card in what is your purpose, then this is the reading for you. Please know this is a collective reading, so there may be some things that you can take and there may be some things that you can't take. And also know that there may be some things that you might need to change how you're looking at them because they may be being shown in a different way. So this purpose reading doesn't necessarily have to relate to your soul purpose. It can relate to what is the purpose of what you're going through right now. What is the purpose or meaning that you need to know right now within your life? It doesn't necessarily have to be what is your soul 1 minute, not 1 minute, but what's your one distinctive soul purpose, because we all have more than one purpose anyway. So please do bear that in mind. So I am going to read from the Isis Oracle book because, as I say, there are some cards I just love reading from the book from. I truly feel that they've got so much to bring, and I think believing that I'm the only one that can give you the source of intuition and work is going to end up hindering the work if I believe that I couldn't, bring anything through via any other source. And some of the books that I read from, I find the meaning of the cards to just be phenomenal, and I think that them based with my intuition really does add to the reading. So if you've been led to pile 3, you have the Divine Sun Child. Blessings of the Sun Falcon. Blessings of the Sun Falcon, the Divine Sun Child Horus, son of Isis and Osiris, flow to you now. Beloved Initiate, it's time to allow your life to flourish without limits, to let your light burn bright and without veil. Just like the midsummer sun burning without contest in the Egyptian desert, blessings of the Sun Falcon herald the time when your divine legacy is being born. It is time to burn bright. Horus, the divine sun child of Isis and Osiris, was born out of impossible circumstances. Through the great devotion of his mother, Isis, and her loving determination to heal her husband and bring him back to life, to eventually become king of Egypt, defeating dark forces that would seek to destroy him and all that he loved with great triumph. It is the story of divine hero of Egypt. Just going to get my glasses. As I'm getting older, the harder it is to read without my glasses. It is also a metaphor for the inner world. Our divine feminine must stay true to her values of love, healing and triumph, of creativity over destruction, born of fear and hate. She must never give up her belief in her ideals. Our divine feminine is our body, whether man or woman, our inner values and the ideals that make our hearts beat stronger and feel right within our belly. With such love for her inner divine masculine, she never gives up on her belief in him either, and in her desire for the togetherness. It leads to his healing, even if he has been lost, fragmented, and thought dead. The divine masculine is our spirit, whether woman or man, that our body desires to unite with, to help it come to life and light in a new and blissful way. The love in our hearts calls our spirit home into our bodies. We become able to stand firm, take action and make choices that allow our inner ideals to become part of the world. We live according to our values, not just hold them inside ourselves. Finally, as our divine feminine and masculine unite within our bodies, a new golden consciousness is born. This is the sun, child Horus, with an eye that is the moon and an eye that is the sun, representing the perfect balance of masculine and feminine in harmony with each other. God, that has come through in all 3 readings. That must be a collective thing that needs to happen. The Divine Sun Child is a new self filled with love, light and power in the world. It is the authentic self, living the inner truths in the outer world. Wow, this is exactly like Pile 2 and 1. I can't believe how different cards are bringing in the same energy, which means you are all needing to hear the same things. An agent of healing on this planet, an inspiration for others to be bold, brave and vivid enough to walk their own path to eventually receive the same blessings. As the Sun Falcon with a burning golden solar disc above his head, he descends to you now, blessing you with great light, good tidings and great potency to manifest your life's legacy, that which has meaning and preciousness in your heart and soul successfully. He is a sign that your heart needs to know it will triumph. The solar principle for which he stands honours creativity and light in all forms, music, art, writing and more. What is in your heart? Are you building a spiritual legacy in your life now? Even if from seemingly small or impossible beginnings, great things are possible for you and your creative spirit. To allow these sacred blessings to empower your creative birth now. In many ways you are guided to let go of thoughts or feelings that is impossible or too hard or cannot be done. Honouring the need to create as part of your natural life expression is a way for you to receive these blessings. I'm not going to lie, I don't like how the book writes. I don't like how this person writes. Their English for me doesn't feel right. And I probably shouldn't say that, but their English is very long-winded, which means it's very hard to read. And I never thought I'd be able to say that, you know. I actually want to say that there's a reason that I felt like that. I feel like maybe you struggle to take things in that feel complicated or long-winded. You like things to be quite simple, quite to the point, you know, getting it out there quickly. Because there's a reason why I suddenly dislike this English within this book. You are born to shine like the sun. You just are. And there is no question that it will happen. This oracle of the Sun Falcon can also indicate a new life and new changing opportunities on its way to you. When your heart sings, say yes. Do not give up until you're successful. Do not give up until you have success. The sun will shine on you. You will succeed. So this is a ritual of the Sun Falcon that you can do. You can do this ritual outdoors on a bright day or in a room filled with candles to honour the light of the sun. Close your eyes and become aware of the light of the sun or the candle burning in your own heart. Imagine that you've become aware of a magnificent golden falcon within that flame, with wide wings and a fierce call shining like a sun full of golden light. Above the head of the falcon is a solar disc, a sun, golden and strong. Feel the golden light emanating from the source and say, I now receive through unconditional love the golden light blessings of the Sun Falcon. I welcome your unconditional love and assistance and blessings into my heart and my life now. Help me foster life and creation now, beloved Sun Falcon. I honour my creative inner sun and allow it to be powerful and bright. Through my own free will as sovereign being of light, so be it. Stay with the golden light, and when you are ready, just open your eyes. If you used a candle, feel free to light it again and again whenever you are engaged in creative work to activate your blessings. Incarnation to the Sun Falcon. You can use this incarnation as a blessing prayer at any time you need some divine creative assistance. You can use it independently or at the end of a ritual above. Horus Falcon of the Golden Sun, my creative energies have begun to shine bright and strong, help my creative projects along, to fulfillment and completion pure, with your will and light sure. Horus Falcon of the Golden Sun, my success and winnings now come. Okay, so let's allow us to look at what is part of your divine person. Sorry if you hear lots of banging. For some reason, my neighbours are quite loud. They're running up and down the stairs, banging the door. I don't think they know that that's what they're doing, but I think these houses are so thin you can literally hear everything through it. Okay. Divine Spirit, Angels and Higher Self. What is part of Group 3's purpose? What is part of the purpose that they need to know now? Okay, so we have Six of Pentacles. Okay. Eight of Swords, the Tower. Wow, okay, so Group 3, I want to say part of your purpose is to recognise when you're falling into deep, dark times that are holding you back. I do feel that you don't recognise how detrimental maybe your thought patterns are. I don't think you recognise how you are caught in behaviours that are self-sabotaging. So when you're feeling down, you may be like, right, I'm feeling down for a day. And that might last for 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. Then it takes you ages to come back up again. And then when you come back up, something happens and you're all sad and down and, you know, feeling pissed off again. And this is saying here to recognise and to start to connect to your emotions so that you're not allowing your emotions to actually come in and wipe you out. Because when things go wrong, which they inevitably do all of the time, if we're not allowing ourselves to recognise emotionally how it's affecting us, we will constantly be in a cycle of everything feeling as if it's a catastrophe. And part of your life purpose here is to find the strength and purpose within yourself, to recognise that you are chasing your tail, to recognise that when things are going wrong, they're coming for lessons. Instead of allowing yourself to be caught in them and try and get through them and closing your eyes and feeling as if I'm just going to get through this, I'm just going to get through this, and then you're floored by the next thing that goes wrong, and then you're floored by the next thing that goes wrong. You know, instead of allowing yourself to just keep running through all these things, recognise that there is lessons that you're being called to learn. If you're ending up in the same argument with a spouse or a friend or the same feelings time and time again, what are you needing to learn? You're being called to recognise that you're entering into the same forms of behaviour and not getting a different outcome, and that's telling you that something needs to change. But you have to be the one to recognise that that does need to change. And you have to be the one to recognise that thinking it needs to change is quite different to having the action. I almost want to say that with your energy, I feel quite irritable, quite irritated, almost like, you know, you're easy to piss off, or it doesn't take a lot to dampen your day, or it doesn't take a lot to, you know, and you know, this, I'm not saying you're a bad person or this is a bad thing, but it's your energy needs to be grounded more. Your energy is calling to be lifted more. You're needing to work on your energy and your vibration more, because you kind of look at the shit instead of the good, and you're kind of like, you're just trying to run through life all the time, just trying to get through the next day, trying to get through the next day, trying to get through the next day. But actually, you're needing to start connecting to your emotions, start looking at them and what they're trying to tell you. You think by trying to get through things, you're not being emotionally affected to the extent that if you've, you know, people go, I don't want to sit and focus on it, because if I sit and focus on it, I'm going to feel sad about it. Well, you're not avoiding it anyway. You might think you're avoiding it, but you're not. You're getting irritable, or you're possibly caught in nothing's going to change. So you might as well sit and reflect on it, and you might as well sit and allow it in and ask what this emotion's coming to tell you, because by not doing that, it's affecting you, and it's, you know, there's a need here, I feel, for control. I'm almost wanting to address everything that feels wrong on my table, because I'm starting to feel very agitated. I'm starting to feel like, you know, you need to have things in order and things have to be a certain way, and if they don't go a certain way, then it's gonna, you know, leave you feeling a bit down. Why isn't it going that way? Allow yourself to recognise life will just flow. Life's carrying on. Whether you try and have control over it or not, life is carrying on. And actually, you know, you are quite a guarded person. You're going into life, you're just getting on with it. You're super independent. You know, I almost feel like you have this you know, as it's weird actually, because what I see there is exactly what I see. The divine sunchild, there's this air of, I've got this, I can do this, I'll just get on with it. You know, you think you can try and do 100 things in one day, but then by the end of the week, you're pissed off because you're tired. You're frustrated at people because they're not helping, but you're trying to do it all yourself. You know, people aren't mind readers. You have to recognise that if you're trying to get on with everything yourself, if you're not telling people what's going on, you know, you've got to recognise that there might be an expectation of you for people to just know or people to just help. And I think you've learnt this from an early age, Group C. I feel like from an early age you have learned to just be independent, to just get on with it, to just not say how you feel. And this has led you into adulthood, but it's not serving you no more. Wow. Absolutely what I would have expected to come in. And it's really mad actually, because when the Tower come in and all of this kind of behaviour stuff that I feel, and I want you to know that what's coming up now for your soul purpose might feel a bit icky, but actually it's coming up because it wants you to recognise that you're just self-sabotaging, and actually it lies with you. You might say, well, actually, no, things aren't going away. There's always something that crops up. No, it lies with you, because you're never ever going to get a grip on anything external. You know, as soon as you think you've got your life in order, something else is going to come in. So you have to start looking internally at these mechanisms. How are you showing up? Are you allowing yourself to deal with your emotions in a healthy way? No, I don't think you are. And I don't want to sound abrupt when I'm saying this, because there's lots of love and compassion that I'm bringing in with you. But I actually feel like Spirit are wanting to give you a stern boot up the bum, because I feel like you already know this. And I don't want you to berate yourself for it or to feel shame for it. I want you to recognise where it's come from. It's come from child. It's come from the need to be independent, from the need for things to be a certain way, from the need to try and have some form of control over your life. But I have to tell you, Pile 3, it's not serving you now. You are chasing your tail, you are going to be fatigued, and you're caught in behaviours that are tying you into cycles of emotional indulgence. That emotional indulgence is you're allowing yourself to express yourself through your emotions, maybe in ways that aren't quite healthy. You know, instead of saying how you feel initially, you're getting quite pissed off in the end, you're just blurting it out, or you're getting irritable and you're shutting down from people and you're pulling away from people and you've had enough and life just isn't fair. Oh, life isn't fair. No, unfortunately it's not. Life isn't actually fair for any of us. But we do get to choose in how we embrace that unfairness. Do we try and take our power back? Do we allow ourselves to connect to our intuition and our higher self? And when we do feel like we're taking our frustrations out in a way that's not healthy, pull it back. Say you're sorry. Acknowledge what you've done. And next time, recognise that you might be feeling that before you've even got there. Before you've even got to a point where you're snapping or getting agitated. Recognise that you might be somebody who is seeing the cup half empty. But when there is a cup half empty, there is a cup half full. And I'm not always saying look at the positives, but I am saying you're overly focused on the things that aren't working out. Wow, a lot of these cards are wow. Oh my, a lot of these cards are just exactly the same as other piles. Pile 3, you are definitely being called for inner child work. I feel like there's lots of positive things that have changed within you, and there's lots of things you've overcome, which is amazing. But I definitely feel that you are caught in coping strategies that you may have had from childhood. It doesn't have to be with your parents, it could have been from school, but there's coping strategies here. You know, you're used to not knowing how to deal with how you feel, so you're used to getting a little bit snappy, or you're used to seeing somebody else get a bit snappy, so that's how you're dealing with it, or you're used to blocking it in. But it does come out passive aggressive wise. You know, just because you don't face things in a way that you like conflict or you can deal with conflict doesn't mean it isn't coming out a bit snipey. You know, oh, well, I didn't need your help anyway. Oh, thanks for being there for me. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but this is some ways of how we can be a bit passive aggressive. Decided to turn up, did we? Decided to be on time, did we? You don't necessarily go out of your way to say how you feel or have conflict, but there is ways that you're getting your communication across possibly that isn't the healthiest and doesn't see anything changing. For your happiness, I really feel that you're being asked to bring it back to the basics of what makes you happy. Allow yourself to start reflecting on what are the basics of what makes you happy. Does spending time with certain people make you happy? Does spending time with certain people not make you happy? You have a choice over how you spend your energy. Stop spending it in a way that, you know, time is like money, energy is like money. You wouldn't go out and just chuck pennies down the drain, but yet we spend every day pushing our energy and our time into directions that are just not fulfilling. And yes, there's some people that we do have to spend time with that we don't always feel the most uplifted from. But how much time do you spend with them? How much time do you spend going over the things that have gone wrong? Thinking things should be different, believing you should be much further ahead than you are, or even believing that, or even feeling like, I'm over that. Well, are you though? You know, because there's always another level of healing that's going to come in. And that may be coming in now. There may be another level of healing coming in now of stuff that you already thought you was over. Have compassion for yourself. Find happiness now in your healing journey. How I started to find happiness in my healing journey was I started to bring it right back down to the core. I started to find happiness in the small things. Getting up and having a shower and feeling good about myself. Reading a book. Taking a walk. I started to find myself trying to seek happiness in better ways than productivity and comparing myself. I do feel that there is somebody within your life, partner or friend, or somebody that is trying to reach out to you and to be and have a deeper relationship. But I think through some of the pain that you've been through, you are quite withheld. I do feel that you say all the right things and you try and communicate. You know, you might actually use intellect against people without, I don't want to be rude when I say this, but you may speak well, or you may know stuff, or you may use words against people. And you're doing this as a form of protection, as a form of coping. You know, you don't want to get hurt. So what you do is you will phrase things maybe in a way such as, it doesn't always see you take accountability. It might see you, without meaning to, push the blame on someone else or to focus on other people. And I don't want to reflect on this pile as if it's a negative pile, because it isn't. But there is definitely some things within your shadow that need to come out. And part of your purpose is healing. Well, no, that's everyone's purpose. But part of your purpose is to recognise these shadow traits and how they may be holding you back. You know, maybe you're not in a relationship now, but maybe when you are in a relationship, you keep feeling like, why do I always pick the bad ones? Why is it? No, you need to ask, what are they showing you? Because they're not the bad ones, as in they are just sole responsible. You're picking them for a reason. You're picking people and situations to go through for a reason. And when you start recognising that, you will stop seeing everything as if it's happening to you, and you'll start recognising that it's happening for you. Because I actually do feel that you might be like, why is this shit being brought to me? I don't deserve this. I don't know why I'm meeting these type of people. I need to know how to not meet these type of people. You need to know how to understand and reflect on why they're bringing you what they're bringing you. You know, maybe you feel like you're meeting aggressive people all the time. Maybe there's a part of you that's a little bit aggressive. Maybe there's a part of you that hides that aggression, and it comes out by pushing people away, or it comes out by being a little bit dominating without meaning to. And again, we all have these traits, so I don't want you to overly look at it. This is a negative pile. It's really not. This is really about coming down to the core of understanding some, you know, especially for your pile 3, you know, Spirit want you to look at some of your behaviours and bring it back to you, so that you can feel more empowered, because I feel like you feel very disempowered in life. I feel agitated, as if you're caught in the it's other people's fault and I have no power and I don't know how to change it and I don't know how to make things better and I don't know how to be happy. There's no answer to how you be happy. You create happiness. Happiness is created through learning to experience things and the lessons that comes with those experiences. Happiness comes with when somebody does something that you don't like, look at it and say, is there a part of me that behaves like that? Because you wouldn't be overly affected by something if it wasn't something within you. How we know a projection is happening, if we are overly angry about something someone's done, that's something within us that we need to face, that we possibly do. If we are really happy and ecstatic, oh my God, someone's so beautiful, that's something within you also that you need to recognise. If you feel indifferent and you feel like quite compassionate and happy and supportive, then that is coming from a neutral non-ego. But if you are feeling triggered, angry, pissed off by someone's behaviour, there is definitely something in it that you need to reflect on, that you do, or you suppress. And you might not want to hear that, and I'm sorry if you don't want to hear that. But allowing yourself to come out of this dense energy that you are possibly in, allow yourself to start some groundwork, do some grounding meditation. Work on the anger that you're holding within you, because there is anger. I feel it. I feel this agitation, this pissed off, this almost like you could rip someone's head off when you get angry. It's almost like, sometimes, you might not be feeling it right now, but sometimes you might get so wound up, you just really got to take yourself off and chill out. You can go from 0 to 60 quite quickly. If the pile doesn't resonate with you, then, maybe it's not for you, or maybe there's parts of it that you need to take and parts of it that you don't. There's lots of things to be happy for within your life. There's lots of things that within your life that are very simple things that if you stopped and paused and reflected on, you could be very grateful for. Because you're looking at the bigger picture, you're looking how things should be, where it should be right now, and you're in circles constantly comparing yourself to what you think you should be, or who you think you should be, or what you think you should have overcome. Life's a journey. You'll overcome one layer of it, and then down the line there'll be another layer you need to overcome. Allow yourself to be honest with yourself, to connect with the different personalities within you. This is not saying you have a personality disorder or anything, but every one of us has different parts of ourselves, and I truly believe and feel emotionally you need to connect with those different parts of yourself. Connect with the self that feels angry. It's not a bad emotion. You might have been taught growing up that anger's bad, or you might have seen so much anger that you've repressed anger because you've seen so much of it that you've repressed it, but actually it comes out in passive-aggressive ways. Or you might just not know how to deal with anger, and it just comes out and you've been irritable and frustrated and angry. Allow yourself to not just address that part of yourself, address the part of yourself that is pessimistic. Or is it optimistic? Yes, because I feel like you're in the pessimism, and I feel like you need to address the part that's optimistic. Quite often, my partner is somebody that always goes, oh, well, it won't happen anyway. I say, well, why'd you say that? Well, if it doesn't happen, then I'm prepared for the worst, but if it does happen, it's a bonus. Well, actually, your vibrations is resonating at the very pessimistic state, in a very low level, almost like you don't believe that could happen, you don't believe that something good's going to come. So when it does, it's a bonus. No, start resonating on the optimism. Yes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, well, it wasn't right for you then anyway. Start to recognise that you can start to look for the good that's going to happen in life. Lots of bad things may have happened, but if you don't start looking for the good, you're going to have a life that is completely doom and gloom. And actually, everyone could look at their life as doom and gloom if they really wanted to. And again, I don't want you to feel shame or anger or anything for this, but if you are in depression, you have to recognise that you are addicted to your depressive thoughts. If you've got depression around you, you're addicted to that. Because that's the side of us that gets our need met. We get our need met if we're down because we can just blame everything externally. And again, I don't want to come across as I'm telling you can just look on the bright side, because that's not the case. But you definitely have to reflect on your thinking and how you are approaching things within your life. Think and also reflect where it comes from. Where does it come from in your childhood? Because it comes from somewhere. And when you recognise that it's not... When you recognise that it's not necessarily your story, and that you're not and you know, you don't want to feel like that. You know, you don't have to feel like it all the time for it to be affecting you. It could be something that is just coming up every now and again, but holding you back in your work because you suddenly get this wave of frustration and anger and you're closed off again. So absolutely part of your purpose is to invoke the divine feminine and masculine. So I do offer you and advise you to come off, when you come off this, to research the divine masculine and feminine and start to research how can you balance those energies, how can you be in those energies, allowing yourself to start to love and feel compassion for yourself and others, because there will be a part of you that's a little bit judgmental of yourself and of others, and actually learning self-compassion and learning to love yourself and your flaws. And this is why bringing some of the darkness into the light will allow you to see you're human. We all have these aspects and we all have to learn to allow these aspects in, otherwise they will just affect us and keep us stuck. So learning love and compassion for yourself, learning that you're human, you're going to make mistakes. When you do that, you can have love and compassion for others too. Making choices that align with your core values and core beliefs. And when you start to do things that, you know, like if you're wanting to have more peace in your life, recognizing that constantly talking about things that are making you unhappy and focus on things that are making you happy is not going to bring peace. So we can allow ourselves to feel the emotions of the things that aren't making us happy, but we have to allow ourselves to know when to not focus on them, when to not make them our story, when to not be defined by them, because you're never going to find peace when we do continue to define ourselves and get caught in the things that are, you know, keeping us down. Process them, feel them, but you have to learn to let them go. Pile 3, I hope that you've taken something from this reading. I really need to say to you, you know, it might sound like you're getting that big kick up the bum, but sometimes we do need to hear things that aren't always the most comfortable so that we can, you know, allow ourselves to see the things that possibly are holding us back. If you do have any questions or you want to ask me anything, then please do pop a comment underneath the post. And all my love and blessings to you.